Hey, what's up, YouTube family? What's cracking? Today, we're going to talk about the true assassin of Tupac Shakur, or the individual that I believed, or the entity that was behind the individual who pointed that gun out the window and took those 13 plus shots at Tupac Shakur in Las Vegas on a crowded, busy intersection. So, the person that you see on your screen, this is Officer Kevin Gaines. He worked for the LAPD Specific Division, and he also had 3 under officers who he did a lot of dirt with, and he sold a lot of drugs with. He was a lookout for during drug transactions. He killed other people, and they were a part of Death Row Records. This is the homeboy security that they speak of. One part of the homeboy security they speak of. The individuals who committed a lot of the murders around Death Row Records, who enforced a lot of things around Death Row Records. You had the security that was, from the hood, and then you had security that had badges and along with them having badges, they committed crime, covered it up, and was able to get away with the said crime. So that's what we're going to talk about. All the information I'm about to share with you, you can get from a book called The FBI War on Tupac Shakur and Black Leaders. And that author's name is John Potash. So I'm not going to go in any particular order with this information, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw this information out there to you. Mr. Gaines was in Vegas 2 days before Tupac was assassinated. And he was in Vegas 3 days after Tupac Shakur was pronounced dead. And that is an FBI sourced information right there. Like I said, this man worked in Death Row Records as security. David Mack, Nino Durden, and Rafael Perez. These gentlemen worked alongside Suge Knight, Reggie Wright, and I believe they also took orders from David Kenner, the crooked lawyer who was the actual owner of Death Row Records. Suge Knight was not the owner. He was the face of Death Row Records, because you got to have a black face. And they pulled strings through Suge Knight. But the actual owner of Death Row Records was lawyer David Kenner, and he was a part of the ADL. What else can we talk about in regards to Kevin Gaines? Kevin Gaines was left-handed. The shooter of Tupac Shakur had to have been left-handed, and they were shooting from the back seat on the left side. Kevin Gaines and Suge Knight, they were not estranged. They knew each other. Okay, they worked with each other. Did Kevin Gaines date Suge's ex-wife? Absolutely. But that was, they make it seem like Kevin Gaines and Suge Knight hated each other. No, they knew each other. They did business with each other, illegal business with each other. When something needed to be done, something needed to be handled, Kevin Gaines was right there. Okay, when Biggie Smalls was assassinated outside of the Peterson Automotive Museum, who do you see? You see David Mack and you see Kevin Gaines standing at the top of the stairs. In one of the most popular videos of Biggie being assassinated, you can see them, and I can't remember which one it is, but you see those two individuals, David Mack and Kevin Gaines, standing at the top of the stairs, watching as things are taking place. Snoop Dogg, in his murder trial, there was a gun that subsequently went missing. Okay, guess who had access to the evidence room in Pacific Division? Mr. Kevin Gaines. Okay, Kevin Gaines was also a individual who will go around recruiting other police officers to work in Death Row Records. Okay, Death Row Records was not moreover a record company. It was a criminal enterprise. Okay, that's exactly what it was. It was the individuals inside of Death Row Records, such as David Kenner, Suge Knight, your boy Reggie Wright, the head of security. These gentlemen had their hands in everything from selling dope, setting people up, murdering people. That's what they did. Okay, it was a criminal enterprise. David Kenner was a huge dope. He was a huge pusher. He pushed dope. All these individuals had their hand in things that were illegal. Kevin Gaines was also in the Army. Okay, and that's what they love. What's the thing about LAPD? If you were in the Army, if you had some type of background where you came from the armed forces, they would recruit you. They would recruit you to do things that were illegal. Okay, they were in itself, LAPD in itself is a criminal enterprise because they allow the criminality of these officers to continue and to flourish. Kevin Gaines was assassinated himself, right after 9 days after Biggie was murdered. Why? Because they had to cover their tracks. He was being erratic. The word was he was working with internal affairs, and he was about to be fired before he was assassinated. There's a huge thing about the so-called white police officer assassinating or killing Kevin Gaines, that they didn't know each other, that it was just road rage incidents, which is absolute hogwash. They both knew each other. That the white officer killed the black officer, it made it a racial thing, which it was not a racial thing. It was much bigger than it being a racial thing. Detective Frank Liga went out of his way to actually say that if he didn't get that if he was further investigated or if things didn't go his way, he would tell people, or he would let the information out that it was an actual sanctioned hit. He said that if the LAPD didn't back him up in regards to this, that he would admit that it was a sanctioned hit. Okay, and that's exactly what it was. It was a sanctioned hit. What's the likelihood of this occurring 9 days after Biggie Smalls' assassination, right before you get fired, another cop ends up killing you, and they make it to a road rage incident, and I didn't know him. Yeah, they both knew each other, absolutely. He even admits in an interview that he knew who Kevin Gaines was. And if he knew who Kevin Gaines was, I'm sure Kevin Gaines knew who he was. So Kevin Gaines was taken out because they had to wash their hands with Mr. Gaines. Okay, the information that he knew and his actions that he took, he definitely had to go. So this is, I believe, in my opinion, the actual killer of Tupac Shakur. Kevin Gaines can also be seen on CCTV footage at the fight. He had a red cap on, and he was walking alongside Norris Anderson and Orlando Anderson. Norris Anderson is the brother-in-law of Suge Knight. That's the person who walks away with Orlando Anderson in the CCTV in the MGM. The gentleman that walks away with Orlando Anderson is not Reggie Wright. That's Norris Anderson, Suge Knight's brother-in-law. I believe that Sharitha, I believe that she's related to Orlando Anderson. I believe that Norris Anderson and Orlando Anderson are related. I believe they are. But they were all a part of this cover-up. It was an elaborate plan. Tupac Shakur was murdered by a drug ring. He was murdered by a drug ring. He was murdered by people who knew exactly what they were doing, and who had a lot of power. So I just wanted to get that information out there to you. If you have more questions, I can give you more answers. But like I said, if you want to know all this information, you can get a book called The FBI War on Tupac Shakur and Black Leaders, and you can get all the information from that book, and you'll know everything that I know. So that's all for this segment. Please like, share, and subscribe. And like I always say at the end of my videos, it's your favorite black guy from Nebraska, and yes, there's black people in Nebraska.